next speaker today is Georgia Barnwell. So that's awesome. Another one of our amazing teachers. She's one of our newer teachers. She's had many adventures on her way to being an advanced EFT practitioner, emotional success coach, and holistic nutrition consultant. So that's a really interesting mix. Started out in the 70s as an optician, learned a lot about vision and helping people to get clarity and focus. Oh, nice play there. Nice play. Continues to navigate her own journey of transformation. Hi, Georgia.
Hi, Aisha. Thanks so much. I'm just so excited to be here and so inspired by all the wisdom.
Isn't it? It just floors you, doesn't it? Like it's just, and it was like somehow something up there was like planned the order of things that happened and the teachers that were speaking.
Yeah.
Like, it's just awesome. Anyways, so you're talking about nurturing a safe space for transformation.
Yeah, and kudos to my colleague Monique for giving us the background on EFT. I have to say that, yeah, I carried a lot of frozen, traumatized inner child and, would try all kinds of therapies and healing modalities. And, there would be a question and I would just say, just stop asking me because I have no idea. I don't have any access to that. And so conscious EFT was able to open that door for me so I could understand where my nervous system had been all my life and to learn how to start building a solid foundation because we can't change unless we're safe.
Right.
So, I mean, if you kind of look at our nervous system as a ladder, at the bottom, we've all got frozen stuff that we haven't processed. And so we shove that all down. And we're in that space, we're frozen, we're on the couch, or maybe we're watching Netflix and maybe we can't even get out of bed. We have no agency for change and no access to, our inner wisdom to find a solution. And that's where we self-medicate. And so, lots of cigarettes and other things that'll keep you there for a while, but it can't keep you there forever. So, I mean, I was really lucky to run into a lot of synchronicity throughout my life that would open up. Oh, here, come study here, be an optician. Oh, okay. Sure. Never thought of it. Let's do it. Or, oh, well, maybe you should go back to school and study nutrition. Oh, well, why not? Maybe I can do that. So all of these things kind of happen to pull me step by step through a process that allowed me to build a tiny foundation of safety.
Right.
And each step. But, on either side of that path, forget about it, not going there. But each step and the EFT was really instrumental in bringing me self-regulation instead of self-medication.
Right.
Which is, full of agency because you're actually doing things for yourself from your own wisdom.
And now it's even more easier it's easier now too. Like, I don't know how, like are you in Canada, Georgia? I forgot.
Yeah, I'm in Halifax.
Right. So, now here, even in Ontario and Canada, we have, cannabis. And I think that's in the States as well. So it's another immediate go-to for people to avoid, that makes them feel relaxed. That's where they go to for anxiety. That's where they go, which causes more anxiety, but that's where they go to for everything. And it's like, so you're just stalling.
Absolutely. And yeah, and when we've held down all of that stuff for too long, it starts to bubble up. And so then we get into our fight or flight nervous system. And so we're anxious, we're aggressive, we're defensive. And, we might have a bit of agency to actually take action, but it's not necessarily the most positive or useful action.
Right.
So a lot of us, and that really, I mean, those two bottom layers, the freeze and the people out there taking action that is from a place of fear and defense, that's a large part of our world. And thank God we're here at IAUSM, because we can climb up that ladder to really our parasympathetic, our ventral vagal nervous system, where we do have agency, where we're present, we're safe, we understand what's going on, and we know how to engage in the moment and find solutions. So that's where the tapping has taken me. And each day, I, carve out a little bit bigger piece of safety and a little bit bigger piece.
Right.
And at the same time, looking at the old stuff that, for me, like listening to your experience at school, Aisha, had a lot of resonance for me. One of my key beliefs was it's not safe to be seen.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, there goes my throat.
You okay? Some people would go into, I'll give you a chance to cough there. So some people would go into not safe to be seen. And I did it opposite. I got very aggressive. I got very rebellious and aggressive and little street fighter. So I did not hide. I was now bouncing off of people. So
Yeah.
it was a very different, because I just had rage.
Yeah. Yeah. So you had rage and I had fear. So
well, rage is fear. That's how I was.
Yeah, they are. I guess different sides of the same coin and how you express it. So that's pretty interesting. Interesting what's going on with my throat chakra. I didn't miss that. So I'll just be tapping on that. But anyway, I think our transformation has to come from a place of safety. And we have to act on it. So those are kind of the two requirements for transformation.
Absolutely. And you've got to take the first step. It's like, I think that I feel like so many people want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
They want to transform their lives. They want to make that change. And then immediately they come up with all kinds of objections. I'll do it later. I got this other thing to do that's going to take too much time. Whatever. And, I'll do it tomorrow, or I'll read that book later, or whatever it is. And it's just like putting your toe in the water when the water's a little cool and you're like, is it good enough for me to jump in yet? Instead of, if you would just run in and jump in, it would just be better for you than, just doing that toe tapping thing, and then, ankles and knees, and it's just so painful. Right. So
yeah, sometimes. Yeah, certainly. I mean, we all want to go from, this is me all fucked up and I want to be transformed. And so like that big step just doesn't work. So we really need to be able to kind of beckon ourselves along step by step.
No, I think what I meant by that is just even getting started.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah, just like getting started. I don't mean like, you can't go.
Oh, yes, I did drop an F-bomb. Sorry.
That's okay. So that's just, it's just to get started and really just believe in yourself and be vulnerable. And, part of being a genius or self-mastery is just basically, I'm scared shitless, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I don't think anyone does anything like this when they're not scared.
Yeah. I guess not. No, I mean, that's a huge.
I just started IAUSM.
Creation.
Oh my God.
That's
huge.
Really huge. That's a lovely piece of transformation and work there.
Right. So, we all start things, whether it's a new business. It's funny. We'll start things outside of us.
Yeah.
Those things we will start. Those things we will do. But when it comes to doing the inner work and diving deep, we'll find every excuse in the book.
Oh, yeah. It's not safe. We're wired for safety, and our nervous system says, well, I don't think so. That's too big a step for me to take today. So we have to coax it.
Right. But it's exactly like if you owned a house and you make sure that it has great curb appeal, you paint it from the outside, it all looks beautiful inside. But when someone opens the door, the fridge is broken, you got a hole in the floor, the walls the paint's peeling on the walls and stuff. So, I mean, that's basically our lives in a lot of cases. Mine was, I made it look great from the outside. Yeah. No one had any idea when the day came that when I decided to end my life. Right. Yeah. So it's like, but it looks great from the outside. Nobody would ever have believed it.
Yeah, I know. And we're just taught to shore up that image and then we get more empty and more empty. And yeah, I think that we're all facing some challenges in like really creating that solid inner safety, the inner acceptance. So yeah, okay, the house is a mess today, but oh, that's all right. I feel good.
Right?
Yeah.
So is there some kind of, sort of just, the question just popped into my head, so I've learned to just ask it. Do you think, or do you feel that there is some sort of EFT, or EFT that could be done, and maybe Monique can type in something about this, to help people with their awakening?
Absolutely. I work with EFT on a continuum, and certainly for people who don't have access to what's going on in their bodies, the sensations, the emotions, this can really help just to create that little space of safety where you can open and start to notice, and safety to be curious, because you can't be curious unless you feel safe. So the continuum I use is I just teach people to tap without words. And if you use this, 5 minutes here and there throughout the day, it starts, as Monique explained, it tones the nervous system, but it also shows the nervous system that we can create a space of safety and presence. So that's the way I work with it before we look at, okay, well, tell me about why your business failed and what's going on there. Let's just dive into that. It's not safe to jump into that until we can self-regulate, because otherwise, the potential to get knocked back off track and to be destabilized. Yeah, look, I looked at that business thing and I understood what happened. And it was a really great session. I had some really good insights and I couldn't get out of bed for a week. That kind of destabilizing thing will happen unless we can consistently and daily do a practice that brings ourselves right back to our center, grounded and safe.
Would it also help with, sorry, I'm just getting all kinds of things jumping into my head right now. Would it also help with what we know as ascension flows?
Yes. Yeah, I think it's been really critically important for me around that, and some of my tapping buddies. We've used it a lot around that, and it's important. There's so many different tools and resources we have out there, and so there's more than one tool that fits everybody. But for me, this was the one that made all of my previous work better, Reiki and quantum touch and nutrition and all of that stuff. This was what really brought me to the place where I could engage more deeply in any of those practices.
You could probably do that anywhere. When I start driving my RV.
Oh yeah.
We're one-handed.
Yep.
I'll switch to this end. Awesome. Oh my God. So great. Oh, we got so much time to talk. So what helped you come out of your shell and finally show up for the world? Like, we've all got our stories, but what helped you just sort of come out of your shell and say, hey, I'm here. I'm doing this work.
Well, life started to beckon me. Like I would get an opportunity to do something and to learn something, or to come and tell us about this. And it was, wow, that's kind of fun. I'm actually kind of enjoying this. So I've done a lot of teaching over the last 20 years, usually around nutrition, but starting to teach around EFT and other things. And just even being able to get out there and talk about real food with people, and realizing how much that information is needed, and how much fun we can have when we learn. We don't have to learn like this, we can learn, from a joyful and fun place. So that's the kind of things that I really love to do, and realize that, Yeah, I was not half bad at it, so why not enjoy myself and let myself do that?
Awesome.
So,
Awesome. So you've got a great bonus gift that you're going to be giving. Actually, let me go back. I have a question here for you. So what wisdom can you offer others on their journey? So when people have started their journey, what would be your like best piece of wisdom?
oh, tap into some compassion for yourself. Absolutely. When we get into that balanced nervous system state, that's actually compassion is there. And we can hold our old selves and our mistakes in a little more understanding and say, well, yep, you didn't know any better then, but now that you know better, you know, that use that old phrase, do better. And it's really the only place where you can start to open up the forgiveness and the transformation of
It is
anything.
really important to forgive yourself, like super important. I think forgiveness of yourself is a huge thing. Self-compassion, forgiveness, self-love.
Yeah.
And the only way that we can do that, as I've realized, like self-love sounds really, nice and cushy and all that kind of stuff. But really, the only thing that is really going to bring you self-love is releasing judgment.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
it's really about not judging others and not judging yourself and having compassion for everybody. And it doesn't mean that you're like all, oh, like that's just not going to happen. Stuff is going to show up for you when you're working with people, or when you see things on the street, or when somebody says something or whatever, but it's the ability to catch it in your awareness and be like, no. And I used to have this really bad habit. It was funny, but it was a bad habit of making caricatures in my head. Okay. So if I saw somebody who was acting silly or whatever, I would just like, I could laugh about it for days because I could like make this caricature cartoon thing going on in my head. And so not a good thing. So now when I catch myself doing it, because it's an automatic go-to sometimes, and I'll see somebody doing something outrageous and I turn it into a character, and immediately I have to say my biggest tool is, who am I when I can just accept and love people for who they are? And the minute I say that to myself, everything inside me changes.
Yeah.
Right. So it's that who am I statement of who am I when I can accept everyone for who they are and where they are. And then, number one, I'm like, what a silly thought, Aish, like, like what, that caricature I was making. And then the other thing is, immediately my heart softens, everything inside me feels soft.
Yeah.
Right. So comedy used to be my go-to as a defense mechanism. I was a go-to comedy person. Yeah. So, the funnier I was, not anymore. I'm funny now just because I'm funny. But before when I was funny, it was because it was my way of not dealing with my stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I know all about that. Yeah.
Right. So that's why I was funny. So the caricatures, things like that in my head was just part of my being funny or whatever. And the mind tends to want to do certain things, behaviors over and over again. Now, when I do it, I go immediately into that who am I statement. Who am I when I want to be? Who am I when I am? Patient, kind, compassionate, understanding. Who am I when I am that person? And immediately it's just like a light switch goes off, and it's immediately, everything inside me changes. Yeah. So I've always found that to be a powerful tool, is that who am I statement.
Yeah.
And I had to learn how to use it. So it's not who am I when I am not judgmental, because I was still had that negative connotation.
Oh, well, there is that. Yeah. Who
right?
are you?
It was right. Who am I when I am loving and kind and accepting of everyone?
Yeah.
Right?
So that curiosity comes from that safe transformational space.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And nice. You're offering a beautiful bonus, another bonus package. Yeah, lots of bonus packages, stuff in the bonus packages. So 30-minute discovery call to anyone wanting to learn more, free tapping essentials, stress relief video. So some great gifts that you're giving out, which is amazing. So again, for the students that join IAUSM, that'll be part of your bonus gift package. So thank you so much for that, Georgia. And we appreciate your generosity and your love. So thank you so much on that.